How's it going, everyone? Today I'll be using this Iron Man Justice deck to take on the Kang scenario on heroic difficulty. This is part of my channel goal of trying to beat every scenario in the game on heroic difficulty using a different hero. And we've got a good opportunity to use Iron Man here today. Kang is a relatively easy scenario. Iron Man is a relatively weak hero, maybe not from like a card quality and resource generation perspective, but because of the way you kind of have to stay in alter ego form the first couple of turns. So there's just a lot of scenarios where he's a really bad matchup. Like if there's a lot of starting pressure, he probably doesn't have a comfortable flip to hero form in order to deal with that. Staying in alter ego form, there's greater risk of losing to an advance. But against the Kang scenario, we have a pretty good opportunity to survive those first few turns. There's very little starting pressure, certainly no turn one pressure. We do get an extra encounter card at the start of the game, but there's nothing we immediately need to deal with. And Kang, even Expert Kang, has only one scheme, so even if he gets an advance, there's a good chance between his regular activation and an advance that doesn't even pop the main scheme. So sort of on top of this, I've picked a Justice deck. So we get a couple of tricks up our sleeve like Under Surveillance, Counterintelligence, Professor X, or Dazzler. These can give us some more flexibility on the main scheme so that we can spend an extra turn or two in alter ego form. But then once we're set up, you can say this about a lot of heroes, I suppose, but once we're set up, Iron Man is really a powerhouse with his suit being able to output lots and lots of value a turn. 6 or 7 card hand size potentially in hero form, Pepper generating sometimes 2 resources a turn, Futurist being just an incredibly strong alter ego ability. Shout out to my promo Corset card here with the full art, the extended art. And I like how the sort of the way Iron Man can really build up and sort of have a high late game output. The Kang scenario actually lets you utilize some of that because it is a bit of a marathon scenario with the 3 different stages, each having the hit points of a normal villain, so it's kind of like 50% longer than the average scenario is. And so what I've done with the deck, it's really not too much of an archetype in and of itself. It's just a lot of cards that are going to support Tony Stark and combat the Kang scenario pretty well. So we've got 3 sonic rifles. This is a tech card. It's confusing, so just really, really strong. I haven't minded playing 3. It is restricted, so you can only have 2 out at a time, but there's no other competition for restricted slots. The effect is really strong. And even in the later game, if we're just using it to do damage, that's perfectly fine. And it can help us close out the game. Because a lot of our cards here are upgrades and allies, so just having an extra damage dealing card is really nice. I'll just go in order here, but Stealth Strike is kind of a strange one-off. It's another nod to sort of that mid to late game where our deck might be kind of small. We've got lots of cards out. Maybe our ally slots are full. What are we actually trying to play from hand? So Stealth Strike is just a good, decent value card that when we're at the point in the game where we're overflowing in resources and we just need to play events to do stuff, I think Stealth Strike is a pretty good one. And it lines up decently with some 4 health minions. 3 health minions that are in this scenario. Invisibility Gear and Prism Dust, these are pretty weak cards on their own, but they're 1-cost techs, so no brainer for Tony Stark here. Some staples here: Counterintelligence, Under Surveillance. Well, I mentioned those in the context of staying in alter ego for some turns. Skilled Investigator, of course, a staple. Ingenuity, a staple for Tony Stark being a genius. 3 copies here of One Way or Another. Now, this is just a good card generally on its own, but especially in the Kang scenario, we can really abuse the time portal. So this is a 2-threat side scheme that gets shuffled back into the encounter deck when we defeat it. So basically, we can get this every single time with One Way or Another. Usually One Way or Another, it's like maybe you get one, maybe 2 good shots with it, but then once you defeat that side scheme, it goes in the discard and you can't go get it again. Time portal, we can sort of abuse that, getting a net plus 2 resources, typically only spending 1 resource to thwart it for 2, just like an activation or something. So really nice card for this matchup. But if you wanted to try this deck in a different scenario, you might want to cut 1 or 2 of these. And then a whole mix of staple allies here. Nothing really too special to call out, honestly. I put Quake in there. Maybe she's one that doesn't always make it in, but she does a little bit more damage just so we can keep the game moving. And she's a 2-cost ally that could block right away if she had to. But yeah, lots of the usual suspects here. Moon Girl, highlight her because we can only play her in alter ego form when Tony Stark is a genius, but of course one of the best cards in the game. And so that is the deck here. So if we get a chance to slip in one of these cards, or maybe Dazzler on turn 1, turn 2, we will. But obviously we want to just develop our suit as much as we can. And, you know, we can delay even playing allies maybe. We can wait till we have, you know, we can wait till turn 2 or 3 maybe to play a blocker before we flip up to hero form, depending on how much margin we can get on the main scheme. But, I mean, we've got a pretty healthy amount of techs here. The normal 7 plus 5. So we should be able to set up pretty well and pretty quickly. Okay, I guess I didn't mention these. Superpower training, another way to get our suit pieces, and then show of empathy, just a ridiculous staple. The goal would be to steal a Tyrannosaurus Rex in this scenario. See if we can do that. But anyways, that's the deck. Let's break down the scenario a little bit. So I always like to break down the scenario a bit to talk about things we need to play around, things we might want to build our deck around if we want to specifically target this scenario a bit more. As I mentioned in the deck breakdown, this is a bit more of a marathon scenario because there are 3 different stages of Kang that we have to fight through. And when we defeat Kang 1, we advance from main scheme 1 to main scheme 2, which immediately gives us a random main scheme 3. There's 4 different options corresponding with the 4 different Kang stage 2s we can get. And then once we defeat that, we move on to the final Kang the Conqueror on main scheme 4. So yeah, Kang, I mentioned here, this first Kang has a scheme of only 1, and the main scheme threshold on scheme 1 is 7. So that is a little bit low, but with only 1 scheme, you know, it's feasible to stay in alter ego at least a turn, possibly even 2 turns if we were able to put that under surveillance or get maybe a counterintelligence out. And then he has this forced interrupt when he attacks, either place 1 threat on the main scheme or he gets +2 attack. So we're basically always going to give him +2 attack because we'll be blocking those attacks with an ally, ideally. Then when we go to stage 2, all of the Kangs here have some different ability. No major like when revealed effects to worry about. Iron Lad's maybe the trickiest just because he's got Retaliate 1. Others just have various differences in the stats. This one can't take damage while a minion is in play, but we usually want to clear our minions anyways, so probably Iron Lad is the bad one to get. The others are kind of fine, just with different stats, as I mentioned. And then the last one looks a lot like the first Kang the Conqueror, except with a bit more scheme and the same forced interrupt when he attacks. So again, right, scenario length isn't really a difficulty indicator, right? Basically, the race is, the real challenge is just to, in every scenario, basically build up to outpace the encounter deck before the encounter deck kills you. But once you're at that point where you're generating more value than the encounter deck forces you to answer, you know, the game will inevitably end. It's just a matter of how many turns it takes to do that. So don't worry too much about like building up your long game just because it is a long scenario. Still try to focus on making really efficient early turns to not die and slowly build up your resources. Okay, let's talk about some of the encounter cards. This is kind of a notable one. Future Weapon gives him +2 attack. When he attacks, the attack gains overkill. If it damages a hero, that hero is stunned. So that's a big attack we're just going to have to eat at some point. So good to maintain a kind of healthy life total. Although, because it's just an attachment, you can kind of see it coming, so you can play around it a little bit. Maybe stun him to delay it, flip to alter ego form if you need to delay it a bit. These aren't that bad. Time travel tactics, this is notable. Each player takes 1 indirect damage for each obligation in their play area. We'll talk about the obligations in a second, but always notable when there's an opportunity for direct damage or threat on the main scheme outside of an attack. Energy Blast is the only extra activation in the deck, besides the standard encounter set. So in hero form, Kang attacks you. Alter Ego, there's a different ability. So notably 2 extra attacks, but no extra schemes. So that's another reason why Iron Man is a bit safer to stay in Alter Ego form for a turn, because it's just the 2 advances. And for what it's worth, the Kang deck is pretty thick overall, so it's even a lower chance of seeing advance than there usually is. Past Machinations has Insight 1, so keep an eye out for that, another way to add threat outside of a scheme. All right, and then let's talk about these 8 obligations. So this is a bit of a theme of Kang's. So they all come in, they have some effect, but then as an alter ego action, we can discard some resource or some card to get rid of them. So ultimately, they're not that bad. If we have to leave one in play for a turn or two, like, it's not the end of the world, but they're so cheap to discard that we'll still probably just do it right away. Some cards like this gets a little bit worse if we leave obligations in play, so still all right to deal with them in a timely manner. Time Travel Hijinks, this is one to play around depending on your deck. So it has a when revealed of discard the highest cost card you control, then place it face down under this card. So this can really mess with some of your plans. If you've got a really important like 3 or 4 cost upgrade or support that you have in play, consider playing like a 3 or 4 cost ally and then just leaving it on its last hit point so that you're ready to discard that when you draw this, and you don't have to discard, like, say your Quicksilver with friction resistance or something. That would be a nightmare to have to discard that to a card like this. I'm playing the Temporal Modular set, which is the recommended one. In the deck breakdown, I talked about Time Portal, so that's one reason to do it. It's an incredibly easy modular set overall, so you could honestly, it might be a little too easy for this matchup, but what can you say? It is the recommended one anyway, so at least I'm not making it easier than it's supposed to be out of the box. And yeah, a handful of other side schemes here in case we have to discard Time Portal. So Pinned Down is not too bad. Assuming we're clearing our obligations in a timely manner, only comes in with two threat. Corrupted Time Stream is a little bit worse, stops us from doing the alter ego abilities on obligations. And then a couple of this Rampage with 4 threat, and when defeated, we discard down to a minion. So that's what we've got. A handful of more minions here. Macrobots, I mentioned this one with the Stealth Strike is kind of nice to take it out in one shot. These are all kind of small, and T-Rex would be great to steal with Show of Empathy if we can, because it is a very large but non-elite minion. All right, so I kind of talked about some strategy as we went there, so I think we're good to move on to the game. All right, so getting things started here, we've set aside the other Kangs, the Kang's Dominion side schemes, and we removed our obligation from the deck. So we'll shuffle this, and then on main scheme 1B, we will deal ourselves an encounter card. Kang comes in tough with 15 health. Again, he's got that Forced Interrupt, which will almost always just be adding attack, assuming we have a blocker. All right, deal ourselves an encounter card. Shuffle up our own deck. So obviously techs are going to be a priority, so we can flip to hero form. Really turn 2 is absent, a Dazzler play or under surveillance. We kind of need to flip by turn 2 in order to not die on the main scheme. But we're hoping to spend 1 turn at least in alter ego form. We do lose to advance and some high boost cards, but relatively low threat in this deck. All right, let's deal the opening hand. Okay, there's a lot of good stuff here. Skilled Investigator is just very good to keep, I think. But I might mulligan it here. So Ingenuity is great. We're a genius, so I think I need to keep that. Then we've got 2 1-cost pieces of the suit. So that's pretty appealing. I think I'll definitely mulligan these 2. Maybe let's just keep Skilled Investigator. It's maybe not as critical turn 1, but being a 0 cost, it's basically guarantees an efficient turn. So let's just keep these 4 and mulligan 2. Okay, Professor X could give us a confuse, but there's nothing to thwart, and we probably end up wasting his block, so probably not. Let's do Futurist. Okay, so there's an Under Surveillance, so that could be the ticket to staying in Alter Ego for maybe 2 turns. Let's see, as it stands, we can go 2 for Ingenuity, 1 for Rocket Boots. Then I could either play 1 2-cost card, or I could play the Helmet and Skilled Investigator. Well, I'd probably play the Helmet instead of Rocket Boots. I'm sort of liking Under Surveillance. Just really keep the resources rolling in Alter Ego here. So it only gets 1 tech into play, but we've got a lot more in the deck still. We get Ingenuity into play. Yeah, I'm gonna get Under Surveillance. Let's pay 2 for Ingenuity while we are Genius. Pay 1 for the Helmet. Pay 2 for Under Surveillance on the main scheme. And end the turn. Oh, Dazzler. Could stay even longer if we want. 1 threat on the main scheme. Kang schemes for 1, plus a boost of You Are Stunned. But overall, that's pretty good. Only adding 1 threat there. And 2 more encounter cards for a grand total of 3. Assault Surges. Pinned Down gets 2 extra threat for each obligation in play. Currently none, so only 2 threat. Future Weapon, this is the one that buffs Kang's attack and then stuns us. And Depowered, cannot play hero-specific cards, but we can discard a hero-specific card from hand to discard this obligation. Actually didn't draw any techs in the hand, which is kind of weird, but we're very safe to stay in Alter Ego form, so don't need to be flipping this turn. Let's Futurist. As good as Moon Girl is, I sort of want to keep my techs going. But yeah, I think Moon Girl might just be too strong. Good chance we draw into another tech. Let's grab Moon Girl. Let's go three mentals for Moon Girl. Draw 3 cards. Oh, yikes. We really got no techs. So, can still play a good combination of stuff. I could play Dazzler. Doesn't actually look great. Could play Dazzler, discard this, and play Show of Empathy. I could play Mockingbird. Doesn't really add anything. Honestly, it might be Nick. He's going to be slightly wasteful because we're not going to block with him most likely. But it'll help us cycle our cards a little bit. Maybe get some text to play. Or we just go slightly inefficient and play Dazzler. I think I just like that, actually. I could keep one card in hand. Maybe I keep Nick in hand. Well, this first block's not worth a ton anyways. Maybe we keep Mockingbird in hand. See if we can stave off that attack of it a little bit. All right, let's discard Repulsor Blast to discard Depowered. Let's pay 4 for Dazzler. Confusing Kang. Dazzler will thwart Pinned Down for 2. And could maybe save Moon Girl for some more threatening things. Or just have her thwart for 2. Yeah, I think there's no rush. Unless I'd want to play like 2 allies next turn. Let's thwart for 2. Play Show of Empathy. Especially with that, possibly giving me another ally. I want to clear up my ally slots quickly. And let's just hang on to Mockingbird. Man, where are my techs at? Or my Stark Tower? Okay, 1 threat on the main scheme. Kang is confused. 2 encounter cards. Time Travel Hijinks. Discard the highest cost card you control, then place it face down under this card. So that will take out Dazzler, unfortunately. But she got some good amount of value in already. And then Temporal Shield. This is the one that basically prevents an attack and deals us 1 damage back instead. But really not that bad. Okay, let's go Futurist. All right, there's some techs, but we can only get 1. I think we'll get... I do kind of have a lot of resources to throw around this turn. Let's get the Sonic Rifle. Pay 3 for Pepper. Actually, let me rethink this a little bit. Oh, this is fine. I just might not. There's actually, yeah, there's no rush at all to discard this. There's some cards that get a little worse if we keep a obligation in play. But this works out all right. So Pepper is going to generate 2 resources for Genius. And then we'll discard a 3rd for Sonic Rifle. Then we'll pay 3 for Mockingbird to stun Kang. And I think we'll just sit and end the turn. Okay, here's a bunch of techs. 1 threat on the main scheme. Kang schemes for 1 plus a boost of 1. Up to 4. 2 encounter cards. Double Future Weapon. Really got to watch out for this attack. Past Machinations has Insight 1, and then we need to search up an obligation. So not a bad time to get depowered since we've only got 3 cards in deck. But I probably just get, actually I think I probably get the one we discarded already. Oh, I think I said depowered, but I meant the one that takes cards from our deck. But depowered is a pretty simple one to discard. So let's just get depowered. And I peeked at the bottom of the deck there, so I gotta shuffle. Now we've probably got a hero form turn. Should be getting at least 2 more techs into play. I wasn't really thinking about it, but I guess I ended up with energy on top. Yeah, because I spent these 3 for Mockingbird. So that's nice for Pepper. Use Pepper to make 2 resources for Stark Tower. What does Stark Tower get right now? Gets the Mark 5 armor. So I wish I had discarded these in a different order. Well, let's get it. Then let's maybe wait to do Futurist, because if I can get another card or 2 in the discard first, that would be preferred. Maybe I do, actually, maybe the Mark V armor is nice because we've got a monstrous attack coming in. Stun the first attack, but if another attack comes in, that's just a lot of damage. Okay, well, we definitely have to discard a hero-specific card to discard depowered. And I think I want Dazzler back in the deck. So let's spend an energy to discard Time Travel Hijinks. All right, now let's do Futurist. So we're going through the deck, so we'll get an encounter card. And this is looking at the top 3, so we don't have to reshuffle yet, I don't think. And I think the Arc Reactor is a really nice one to get into play this turn. Well, the Arc Reactor, I can't play Arc Reactor and Mark 5. But I might just hold it for next turn, that would be fine as well. And I potentially just don't use Mockingbird at all, because she could soak up 3 damage from this overkill attack, which could be worth it. Going to be at 15. It's coming in for 7 plus a boost. I mean, she'll block more than 3 damage if she waits as well, so might just wait. Oh no, I can't keep Arc Reactor in hand. But okay, that's fine. We might get it back with Stark Tower. So pay 1 for Prism Dust. Pay 3 for Mark 5 armor, keeping the Arc Reactor on top. So plus 6 hit points. Up to 15. I want to keep my texts all in a row. Okay, just do one more check here. So this is going to go up to 6, 7 plus a boost. Advance is pretty risky. I could maybe thwart it down a little bit first. But I think I'm just ready to go to hero form. I'll probably flip back right away again next turn, but let's get some value here. So flip up, Mark 5 helmet for 1 threat. Let's thwart for 2. And I still think save Moon Girl. I will use the sonic rifle to confuse Kang. And end the turn. Four techs in play, so hand size is 5. Oh. Bad looking hand, but we've got Stark Tower, we've got Futurist to help it out, so. Alright, 1 threat on the main scheme. Kang is stunned for attack 1. 2 encounter cards for a total of 3. First up, Time Travel Tactics. Take 1 indirect damage for each obligation in our play area, which is 0. That's Surges. Under Fire, number 1. Energy Blast is an attack. So I'm just going to fully take this one. Because I think if Mockingbird ever does block an attack for 3, if she does block an attack, it'll be for more than 3. So she could prevent 3 damage now. Or I just wait. So Kang attacks. I'm going to give him 1 threat on the main scheme for the Forced Interrupt. Not blocking at all. Coming in for 7 plus a boost of 0. So I'll take 7 down to 8. Then I am stunned, which is redundant. Under Fire number 2, Chitauri Soldier. Regular card number 2, Macrobots, finally getting some minions. Let me think about, I could pop Prism Dust just to, it would only remove my stun because this is an attack. But that could be worth it. I'm probably going to take control of the Macrobots with Show of Empathy. Might not be doing anything about this. Might be just doing Repulsor Blast. I kind of like just doing Prism Dust. I think I'll get up to max tech by the next time I go to hero form, so I'm not worried about losing the card. It is going to be in the discard and prevent me from getting the Arc Reactor back, though. So actually, I think that's reason enough not to trigger Prism Dust. Oh my goodness. So there's a gang up. All right, Kang attacks. We'll give him plus attack and defend with Moon Girl. Moon Girl takes a lot, and sadly Time Portal is gone from the deck. Okay, Macrobots attacks for 2. I'm just going to take it. Chitauri Soldier, when it attacks, we discard the top card of the encounter deck, take indirect damage equal to the number of boost icons on that card. So I don't think I'm going to defend this attack, but then let's see what we get here. 2 boost icons there, so we'll take 2 damage, and then the attack will take 1, going down to 3. All right. Well, that was exciting. So let's thwart Show of Empathy for 3. Putting it on the Macrobots. Yeah, I might be leaving this alive. That's okay. Mark 5 helmet for 1 more. And I'll take control of it. With Redemption. I'm just going to remove the threat from it, just because it's not relevant for anything. Let's flip down. Let's do Stark Tower to get the arc reactor back. Futurist, come on, like Dazzler, some way to spend 4 resources. Well, Kang's already confused. This is a very wasteful turn though. So I do think it is actually best just to get Dazzler. Dazzler will let me kill the Chitauri soldier as well. All right, let's play out Skilled Investigator. Yeah, we can keep a double in hand. So let's pay 2 for Arc Reactor. Pepper. 3, 4. For Dazzler. I guess, well, okay, doesn't matter. Confuse the Chitauri soldier. Actually that is gives me a slight boost in efficiency, because now Dazzler can just thwart for 2. Macrobots can still attack for 2 against the Chitauri soldier, but we can finish it off for 1 pretty efficiently with Mockingbird next turn. I'm going to discard the Repulsor Blast end of turn. It's not a card I'm looking to do yet. In hindsight, I should have just probably played it in hero form to remove my stun. Because I should have seen ahead that I had more resources than I was going to be able to spend even after drawing a card and getting a tech back. Probably want to do some recover actions pretty soon. Oh, sorry, drew 1 too many cards there. Let's shuffle because I saw what it was. One threat on the main scheme. Kang and the minion are confused. 2 encounter cards. Weakened. After we use a basic hero power, take 1 damage. Manipulated Time Stream. Discard each event card from your hand. Let's see if we got any of those. Actually, no events. So if no events are discarded this way, this gains Surge. And a second Temporal Shield. Okay. Let's see what is our top tech. All right, Stark Tower to get invisibility gear back to hand. Futurist. I think my good one way or another targets are gone. Got a lot to do. It's probably a resource, whatever I do. Yeah, because that's pinned down as our other good target. So there are targets, but it's probably just not worth it. And there's our time portal. So maybe I'll play Stealth Strike, probably not. All right, let's discard a physical from hand to discard weakened. Let's pay energy for powered gauntlets. Let's play pepper for counterintelligence. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. We're fully teched up. Let's recover for 3. Oh, I've got the ingenuity resource as well. That could let me go aerial. All right, let's just play the invisibility gear. If nothing else, this is just getting it out of my deck. Pay 1 for superpower training. Flip to hero form. Oh no, I don't have the rocket boots to go aerial. So powered gauntlets, attack to remove stun. Arc reactor to ready. Mark 5 helmet to remove 1 threat from here. So comes in with 3, forgot to put it on. Put it down to 2. Iron Man thwarts it for 2. We'll go get the other powered gauntlet. So we've got the 2 rocket boots left. Not like we're short on our techs anymore. Let's go for an attack with the powered gauntlets. As a force to interrupt when Kang is attacked, we discard this to prevent damage from the attack and deal 1 damage to the attacker. We'll have Mockingbird finish off the Chitauri soldier. Oh, I forgot to draw a card off Skilled Investigator. We'll just say it's too late. Let's have Dazzler thwart for 2. I'm tempted to just have Macrobots eat this temporal shield, but I think I'm just gonna save it. It's so easy to trigger with powered gauntlets. And sure, let's go for the Confuse with Sonic Rifle. And end the turn. All right, clearly everything going well. Unfortunately, we've got, 60 damage still to do to win the game, but hard to see me losing. So 7 card hand size with well over 6 techs in play. 1 threat on the main scheme. Kang attacks, will buff his attack. Mockingbird blocks, takes a bunch of damage. Corrupted Time Stream is the last, even realistic one to get with one way or another, because Rampage is a lot of negative value. 2 encounter cards. T-Rex, And another Macrobots. All right. Want to make sure I recover here no matter what. T-Rex could be left alive since we're flipping down. Macrobots has Retaliate. It could be nice to one-shot. All right, let's go Ingenuity for the boots. Get a hit point. Pepper for the boots. Get a hit point. I'm going to start making some possibly less optimal plays that just help me keep going faster, since the outcome is more or less a foregone conclusion now. Hope I'm not made to eat those words, but I'm going to fully kit it out. Okay, let's... I don't even get a ton from being aerial right now. What is my topmost tech? Maybe I want to get a sonic rifle back. All right, let's just do a supersonic punch on the Macrobots for 4 damage. Mark 5 helmet, 1 threat. Attack T-Rex for 1. Ready with arc reactor. So powered gauntlet number 1. Let's just do it into Kang. Trigger the temporal shield, take a damage. Powered gauntlets number 2. I didn't actually go aerial, did I? No. It's only 1 damage. Let's just hit the tough off of Kang. Nice way to use 1 damage. Okay. Flip down, recover for 3. Stark Tower, back. Sonic Rifle. Futurist. Get one way or another, I guess. Go through the deck. Very small deck now. I think over half our deck is out. Yep, I've got 22 cards that I can see out, including 4 in the hand, so 18 cards in the deck. Feels like even less than that, but I guess it's about right. And then pay 3 for Sonic Rifle. And end the turn. Do have to remember now that Alter Ego actually gives me fewer cards in hand than Hero Form does. It's nice to be able to answer any obligations right away in Alter Ego form, I guess. And I get the extra resources, so I guess it pulls ahead slightly. 1 threat on the main scheme, Kang Confused. T-Rex schemes for 0. 2 encounter cards for a total of 3 this turn. Exhaustion, exhausts, and surges. Time travel tactics, 0 obligations. Surges into weakened. Frozen in time, this is the one that stops us from readying. Assault surges into Ancient Warrior, who does not quick strike because we are an Alter Ego. We've avoided Shadow of the Past pretty well. Okay, kind of an ally-heavy hand. We do have an ally slot available. Okay, no techs currently in the discard, so let's see if I can discard a tech in this form. Let's do Futurist. Oh, could be a Moon Girl turn, but I'm pretty full on allies. I've got enough non-ally stuff to do though, so maybe I do just take Moon Girl. All right, we'll spend mental, mental, mental for Moon Girl. Draw 3. All right, discard a physical from hand to discard weakened. Stark Tower to get back Sonic Rifle. Flip to hero form. Arc Reactor, we do not ready, we just discard Frozen in Time. Mark 5 helmet, remove 1 threat. All right, let's look at the resource situation. Sure, let's spend a mental to go aerial. Powered Gauntlets for 2 to kill the Ancient Warrior. Powered Gauntlets for 2 into T-Rex. We will Stealth Strike for the remaining 4. Remove 2 threat from a scheme. And then pay 3 for Sonic Rifle. And let's go 1 Sonic Rifle to confuse. Let's keep these together. 1 Sonic Rifle to deal 3 damage. Let's have Macrobots attack for 2. Moon Girl attack for 2. And Dazzler can wait, she might need to block. End the turn. Okay, run through the deck, get an encounter card. It's even smaller this time. One threat. Kang attacks. Let's have Dazzler block. Give him +2 attack. Takes a bunch of damage. Three encounter cards. Macrobots, Rampage, Stolen Memories. Put the top 8 cards of our deck under there. Okay. let's thwart for 2. On Rampage. Ready. Thwart for 2 again. When defeated, discard from the encounter deck until we get a minion. I think we might have an Ancient Warrior left. Yep. Shadow of the Past still in there. So Ancient Warrior does quick strike for 2, which I'll take. Let's just go aerial. So helmet and 2 gauntlets. So helmet for 1 threat off the main. I forgot to draw with this again. I don't think it's too late. No, we'll draw with Skilled Investigator. Okay, then I'll go aerial. Then I'll do the helmet for 1, 2 powered gauntlets, so 2 damage here, and 2 damage here. I'll take a retaliate 1 from that. Let's have Macrobots finish off the Macrobots. No retaliate this time. Let's have Sonic Rifle, smack Kang for 3. Pay 1, 2, 3 for another Sonic Rifle. We'll pay Pepper for Quake. We'll have Quake attack for 2. We'll Stealth Strike for 4, defeating this stage. So when defeated, advance the main scheme to stage 2 at the end of the phase. We'll flip down, discard a mental from hand to discard Stolen Memories. And end the turn. Okay, so, all right, advance at the end of the phase. So I think we draw up first. Don't know if it actually matters. This is a little bit of a risk if we get a high scheme Kang 2. Oh, but we don't even lose if we scheme out on main scheme 3, so it doesn't really matter. But we've got counterintelligence as well. All right, so we advance to 2, so we lose under surveillance. Place an acceleration token here for each side scheme in play, which there's none. Reveal this, tells us to go to a random stage 3. I'm just gonna shuffle the Kangs so that it's perfectly random. The backs of these are all different, so you just have to take my word for it that I'm looking away if I were to randomize those. Well, let's see who we get. The lowest scheme one. Kang Scarlet Centurion. So this is the present future war. So add Kang to the game area and deal yourself an encounter card. And this starts with 2 threat. Kang is tough and has 22 hit points. Attacks have piercing. Doesn't really matter for this matchup. And now we have the villain phase. So it goes up by 1. Kang schemes for 1, 2, 3. And there's Shadow of the Past gone. This would have been a kind of rough turn to get Shadow of the Past with as one of our 4 encounter cards. Alright, so 4 encounter cards, as I said. Master Plan. This is a main scheme, so we might whiff. There might be a rampage left, though. Nope. Okay. So we run through everything. Main scheme 2B tells us to put an acceleration token here, so we will do that. And then Master Plan. Yeah, Master Plan doesn't make it in the reshuffle. Oh, geez, I just dropped tons of cards. Okay, I wish I could show you my floor to prove to you that I didn't leave it under fire down there or something, but there's the cards that fell. And let's see what's coming up as I shuffle. Okay, depowered's fine. Energy Blast. Discard an ally or support you control. Well, I think this is a good chance to just discard an ally to use up a slot. Supports are giving me value. I'd have to replay them, so let's just discard Macrobots. And another Stolen Memories, which will steal 8 cards. Okay. Let's, I mean, we're at the point where it might be incorrect to do Futurist, but I'm just going to do it. Let's get a double. I mean, War Machine legitimately does a lot of damage. All right, let's discard a mental to discard Stolen Memories. There is a Sonic Rifle in there, so I'll get it back with Stark Tower as the topmost tech. Let's discard a Repulsor Blast to discard Depowered. Let's recover for 3. Let's pay 4 for War Machine. Let's pay 3. Oh, these are my last resources. I think I'd rather just play Supersonic Punch, maybe? Yeah, let's go Aerial and play Supersonic Punch. All right. Flip up. Let's go Aerial with Ingenuity. I've got no pokes for 1, so we'll just have War Machine attack. Knock off the tough. We're Aerial, so pay 2 for Supersonic Punch, which will deal 8. Down to 14. All right, let's do all these. So 1 threat, 4 more damage, and ready. Maybe save the sonic rifles. I don't know. Can I advance him right now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, not quite. So let's just thwart for 2. We'll have no trouble advancing him next turn. And because it's at the end of the phase, we can't just work into stage 3 next turn. I think I'm just going to discard these. I think I want to just get back to my repulsor blasts and supersonic punches. Yeah, I'm just going to discard both of these end of turn. All right, go through the deck, which is becoming a every turn occurrence. And let's see, we're probably 3 turns away, possibly 2. There's maybe a world where I can burn through Kang stage 3 in 1 round, but that would be a lot of damage. All right, let's go 2 threat on the main scheme. I don't actually know if this is strictly true. I don't know if this is really applying yet, but at the very least, give it a grim rule. All right, there's some good damage. All right, so Kang attacks. Let's have Moon Girl block. As a boost, you are stunned. Okay, 2 encounter cards. Advance. Sure, scheme for 1 plus a boost of 2. Puts 3 on. Yeah, I'm actually gonna counterintelligence this. Okay. Ancient Warrior, quick strikes for 2. And another Ancient Warrior, geez. Quick strikes for 2. Okay, let's go aerial. Try to attack to remove our stun. Let's do everything here. 1 threat, 2 damage twice. Let's clear the Ancient Warriors. Let's go. Yeah, we're gonna waste a little bit, perhaps. Okay, 1, 2, 3 for Agent Coulson. Get counterintelligence back. Pepper to play it. Pay 2 for Supersonic Punch, dealing 8. Down to 2. War Machine will hit for 2, defeating this stage. So at the end of the phase, we will join another game area, which will be this game area. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how it works in solo. If not, I'm only hurting myself, right? Then I think I'll keep this in hand just because it's damage. And no reason to attack, no reason to attack. If I flip down, that actually maybe leaves me a little vulnerable. But I do have counterintelligence, and I saw 1 advance already. So if I flip down, Main scheme 4 comes in 10 away from popping. So it'll go up to 1, then up to 4 plus a boost. Advance would be 7 plus 2 boosts minus counterintelligence is 4 plus 2 boosts. I'll just stay. I mean, might be some inefficient blockers, but they're still blockers, so let's stay up in hero form. We just get more cards in hand too. Okay, so end the turn. Oh, I missed a 1 from the acceleration, but yeah, I think this is good. Okay, end of the phase. Let's join this game area. When all players have joined this game area, advance to stage 4A. So reveal Kang, and oh, I forgot about this actually. So reveal Kang 3, reveal each face down Kang's dominion, which there are none. But then when this is revealed, we get our nemesis minion. So that's Whiplash. So I definitely want to defend that attack as well. So, okay, maybe I haven't left myself too much margin here. Oh, you know what though? Well, I could invisibility gear. I don't actually hate that. Could also Prism Dust, but I get retaliated anyways. Oh no, but Prism Dust is a confuse, not a stun. I'm thinking Widow's Bite here. Alright, so Kang stage 3 comes in tough. Comes in with 25 hit points. Okay, 2 threat on the main scheme. Oh, I can get this out of here now. Kang attacks, we'll give him +2 attack, and Quake will defend. As a boost, give Kang a tough status card. Alright, I don't think I can scheme out because I've got counterintelligence in case we do draw advance. So I will use invisibility gear when Whiplash would attack to make Whiplash scheme instead. So Whiplash will scheme for 2. It's kind of, I wasn't expecting that to actually have a relevant use this game. And somehow it's only actually 2 encounter cards this turn. Caught off guard, we'll discard. Honestly, maybe it's a Rocket Boot, but it's giving me a health right now, so let's discard Skilled Investigator. Maybe could have discarded Prism Dust actually. Time Travel Tactics, we have no obligations, so 0 damage. Into Rampage, which we will ignore at this stage in the game. Okay. Let's Ingenuity to go Aerial. We will... how much do I actually need to thwart? Because we're going to have the Confuse. I don't actually think I need to thwart. This will go down to 3. It's going to go up to 6. Confuse pops. Advance minus counterintelligence puts it to 6 plus a boost. But then there's that Insight 1 card. Let's just thwart once to be safe. Okay, let's have Agent Coulson attack for 1 on the tough. Unless I've got 25 damage, I guess that is theoretically possible. 8, 12, double Repulsor Blast, a assume it averages 5, that's like 22 damage. Kind of a lot of energies in the discard. We actually know that, okay, there's six cards here, which is an awkward number for Repulsor Blast. So one Repulsor Blast is going to be good, really good, because the double energy is in there. But then the other one only has 1 card to discard. Let's just, it's so in the bag, I'll make it take 2 turns. Okay, so Ingenuity, I already did to go Aerial. So, Helmet, 1 threat from each scheme. Powered Gauntlets, let's hit Whiplash twice. The first one I get retaliated for 1. Arc Reactor to ready. Maybe we'll go down and recover 2. I mean, I really shouldn't, that really doesn't matter. Let's attack for 1. All right, let's pay 2 for Supersonic Punch, doing 8 damage, down to 16. Pay 1. I guess I don't even care. I should probably Time Portal and get some extra value. I'll pay 1 for Repulsor Blast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, we actually miss energy. So this is only 3 damage. Yep, it's the last card. So let's just, sure, let's pay 1 to Repulsor Blast again. We'll get 1 card, but it's energy, so this will be 5 damage. And yeah, I feel like there was a lethal somewhere, probably, but I mean, yeah, if I just Powered Gauntlets Kang instead of Whiplash, that's lethal. So, okay, so Repulsor Blast actually doesn't make it into the reshuffle. I get an encounter card. Okay, Sonic Rifle to confuse. Sonic Rifle to do 3 damage. Flip down. Honestly, let's just have War Machine Thwart for 1. And we'll keep Nick in hand, because why not? And end the turn. Okay, 3 threat on the main scheme. Kang is confused. Energy Blast, we'll discard War Machine. 1, 2, 3. Insight 1. We'll go Reveal an Obligation. Let's just get whatever I can grab fastest. We'll get depowered. And then we will just do a quick check. Yeah. We'll spend Repulsor Blast to discard depowered. Flip, go Aerial, double Powered Gauntlets to kill the guard minion, and then Super Power Punch for 8 damage. And that's the game. So worked like a charm on the early turns. Got that under surveillance to allow us to stay in alter ego form for longer than we usually can with other heroes in the game against other scenarios. And yeah, by the time our text was built up, really nothing that we couldn't overcome over a single turn cycle. And a great showing there by Iron Man. And honestly, really makes me think, I mean, just the encounter card quality is overall very weak with Kang, so he's quite a bit easier than I remembered. So maybe could have gotten by with even a weaker hero and still won the scenario. But oh well, I still think Iron Man is, generally requires a weaker scenario to get a win with, so glad we got it here. Yeah, thanks for watching. All I got to say about that one. See you in the next one.